Well, it's preparation time again. Duck season's almost upon us. So we're decking out the duck boat, getting the camouflage refreshed, just like probably a lot of you are this time of year. And I want to talk just a minute about preparation of a working retriever. Of course, this program is about force fetching. When we get ready to go duck hunt, we add all of our camouflage, get the decoys out and get them rigged up. We're prepared to hunt. Your dog should be too. Now here in the duck boat, this is the bow, and this is a little platform where the dog's going to sit and do his work. If you have a dog that has not been all the way through force fetch, all the phases, or if you're just have a young puppy that hasn't even begun and it's that time in his life, I want to give you some advice you can take or not take, but it's a pretty firm opinion and it's based on more than 30 years of experience. He doesn't belong right here. He needs to be home being trained, thoroughly trained, so that when he does go on that duck hunt, he can have fun, learn to fall in love with it, and not be hounded about doing his job again and again and again for a bunch of little mistakes that never should have happened. Been doing this for a long time, and I know what preparation it takes to go hunting, and so do you. I also know what kind of preparation it takes for your dog. That's his profession. It's what he does for a living all of his life. Give him his tools, the full set. In this presentation, we're going to start with a couple of young dogs. They're very green about force fetch. However, they've been completely obedience trained, and that means it's been formalized. This is why that's important. When we start force fetching, right from hold, before we even start ear pinching, we're going to be putting some pressure on them that they've not had before, for things they've not had it for, and in different ways they've not had. They need to know how to deal with pressure before all that stuff starts. What we do when we formalize obedience is we do put some temperate pressure on them and teach them how to deal with it. The process is called pressure conditioning. So when they start force fetching, they already understand how to turn off pressure through compliance. Very important mechanism, and it'll permeate all of their training their whole life. But this is the nucleus of the trained retriever. Whether it's actually a dog that's of the retriever breed or a pointing dog or some other sort of gun dog that's going to fetch and retrieve to hand. In this program, we're, as I said, going to start working with a couple of young retrievers. We're also going to see some pointers of various types, but the process is the same for any of them. And we're going to start with hold. We're going to teach them to hold what's in their mouth, hold it properly, give it up gently on command, and it should be on command. We're going to teach them to fetch on command, and I use ear pinch. I don't use the toe hitch. And I don't directly collar force dogs. I've been there and done that, and it was successful. I just didn't like it as well. Ear pinch is hands-on, and I do like that. Very well controlled. We're going to go through all the phases of going to ground to fetch, fetching from in front, step by step by step to the ground. Fetching from the ground, then we're going to get them moving a little bit and just start walking fetch, but at that point, we're going to stop and do e-collar conditioning. When we're through that, then we're going to start getting them going and formally do walking fetch. We're going to do a process called fetch, no fetch that you may not be familiar with yet. But you'll see it all here, and you'll see it done with a number of dogs. And then that immediately precedes starting pile work, which is mini pile. And then we'll do a full 9 bumper pile. And that force fetch dog is then ready for the very final stage, and that's water force. That can be seen in its entirety on the Smartwork Water Force and Swim By DVD. So we're going to start preparing dogs the way I suggest you start preparing your dog. And maybe that young puppy this year who's going through it will not only be doing that, but all of his handling work and every other skill set that you want to put in him, so that next season you take a well-prepared dog to the field. Now let's watch that process get rolling.